morning, everyone. Ma'am, sir. Hi, I'm Cedric C. Bibero, Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. For today's video, we're going to study and talk about the theoretical perspective on development. So I hope you will like it. I hope you will gain some knowledge about this report. Let's go and jump to the video. Million babies born every day. But have you ever wondered on which of them will be a president, a CEO, or well-known criminal someday? Which one among those crying baby that fail to thrive or may develop with major physical, intellectual, social, or emotional challenges? Which of this bird class will be tall or short, slim or obese, athletic, academic, artistic, or skilled with his or her hands? We don't know who will succeed and fall because the world is full of surprises. We cannot see that this person will not prosper because of what he or she is now, because there is a development. Everyone has a development. What do you think is the function of theory? Theories serve two functions. The first one, they help explain the knowledge about how children develop. And the second one, they encourage further researchers anchored on predictions about behavior that can be tested and evaluated. While they take various positions on the issue or concept of development, they are seen as being complementary to each other. Now that we already know what is the function of theories, let's now take a move on and tackle about what are the theories of development. It is a collection of theories about how desirable change in society is best achieved. Such theories draw on a variety of social science disciplines and approaches. In this video reporting, multiple theories will be discussed. What are the theories of perspective on development? So we have here the two main theories, which are Freud's psychodynamic theory and Erikson's psychosocial theory. Actually, they both assert that a child responds to a set of biological drives. So let's start first on Freud's psychodynamic theory. It is recognizes the early experiences as determinants of later development. Let's say, for example, the development of personality that is always associated with the concept of ID, ego, and superego. On one hand, from the Freudian theory, the deprivation or satisfactions of child that is drive says that consequently impacts on the later adult personality. Some examples of behavior and their explanation using psychodynamic perspective include obsessive hand washing that could be linked to a trauma in childhood that now causes this behavior. Nail biting. Nail biting may be caused by an anxiety-inducing childhood event. And another compulsive behavior is hair plucking. The second one, is the Erikson psychosocial theory. It is expanded Freud's theory to include social and cultural factors as influences on the child development, as well as to extend the theory into a lifespan perspective. This psychosocial theory is based on the most important tasks, both personal and social, that the individual must accomplish at a particular stage. A psychosocial development involves changes not only in the children's overt behavior, but also in their social cognition. Let's say, for example, children become able to take the perspective of others and understand that others people behavior is based on their knowledge and desires. Now that we already know both of these theories, let's now tackle about what are the main differences between Freud's psychoanalysis and Erikson's psychosocial development theory. These two theories of development are both focused on the importance of early experiences. But in the study, it tells that there are notable differences between Freud's and Erikson's ideas. Freud's centered on the importance of feeding, while Erikson's theory was more concerned with how responsive caretakers are to a child's needs. Beside on the two main theories from Freud's and Erikson's theory, we have here the third one, which is the Piagetian theory. That is, development is looked upon as the complex reorganizations of understanding moves from one stage to another in terms of resulting from as a child's cognitive functioning. This theory asserts the continuous search for new knowledge, information, and experiences that are somehow vital for its functioning as a fully development or mature individual. The early behaviorists propose that learning is regulated by environmental factors that is define and modifying patterns of behavior. They may either be classical or conditioning operant. Like say for example, a child may have a schema about a type of animal such as dog. The fourth one is cognitive social learning theory. This theory emphasizes, other than behavior, the concept of imitation as a form of learning. Learning, according to this theory, results from the ability of the child to select the pattern of behavior to imitate information. Processing approaches have been applied in these studies that is dealing with cognitive development and social behavior. They focus on how a child processes information and uses this as a guide in adopting a particular behavior pattern. Some of the examples of cognitive learning strategies includes when we are asking our students to reflect on their experiences, when we are helping students to find new solutions to problems, when we are encouraging discussions about what is being taught, and when we are helping students to explore and understand how ideas are connected. And the last one but not the least, the fifth one, the dynamic system theories, which looks at the individual as members of a system and that this dynamic interaction contributes to their development. Behavior is shaped by the constant relations with the members that make up the system. Contextual perspective on these theories take into the account in the matter of psychological development and the contributions of cultural factors. Let's say for example, when our child interacts with the social environment, development as the child ages, he was guided by the more mature skilled people just like their mom, their dad, with whom the child establishes a continuous relationships. What is ecological theory and ethological theory? Let's start first on the ecological theory. Ecological theory underscores the importance of the various environmental systems to development. This includes the family, schools, community, and culture. They are referred to as ecological system, the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. In the ecological theory, perspective development, a child acquires experiences from the environment, adds such experiences to the built-in knowledge, and modify his understanding of the environment. Historical approaches acknowledge the contribution of historical events to human development. Psychologists view development from a lifespan perspective. What are the commonly referred as ecological systems? The first one is the microsystem and Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory that is focused on the ways children live and relate to the people, including institutions, with the most number of interactions like family, peers, and schools. Let's say, for example, a child is able to actively form social relationships with other children in choir class or the music class. And the second one, the mesosystem. A mesosystem is a combination of two or more microsystems. Let's say, for example, a child's mesosystem might be home and the school. And the third one, the exosystem. It is the outside of one's daily activities but may still have an effect on the individual. For example, a parent's workplace is part of child's exosystem. And the next one, the macrosystem. It is the system that surrounds the microsystem, mesosystem, and exosystems that is to represent the values, ideologies, and laws of social culture. For example, the cultural values may have affected Cedric's grandmother and aunt's belief about extended family involvement. And the last one, and the fifth one, the chronos system. It is the time-based dimension that can alter the operation of all other systems in Bronfenbrenner's model, from microsystem to the macrosystem. For example, the birth of a new sibling when the child is 8 years old, the separation and remarriage of the child's parent to other people when the child is teenager. We are now here at the last topic for today's video, which is the exceptional development. Well, what is an exceptional development? It is the cognitive abilities in physical structure and emotional stability. And every child is unique to himself in personality traits in others. Among children, these differences are highly noticeable, even in the aspect of learning. Some children are fast learners, those gifted with exceptional intellectual capabilities, and some are slow, those who function at significantly lower intellectual levels. Where areas score below 70 in intelligence testing indicates men. Total retardation visibly demonstrated by the child's inability to cope with the appropriate activities of everyday life. Even among the gifted children, there can be difficulties in learning attributed to language impairments and reading disabilities called dyslexia. Exceptional development in children can be seen in both the intellectually gifted and to those with the intellectual deficits. You know what? Knowing what factors played in a role in our childhood development can help us to understand the person we are today. Learning from theoretical perspective of human development can also help us to better understand children, whether it's exceptional or not. Whether you are currently a parent or planning to become one, knowing the psychology behind your child's growth can be greatly beneficial. We all able to gain a better understanding of how to interact with children, not just children but to people around us. Studying these theories about our development will also give us a greater appreciation of our own development throughout life. Lastly, we will all gain the ability to decipher between what is normal and what is not. something that can come in handy in several situations. And last thing, just I want to tell, this theories about development is very interesting to learn about. Development describes the growth of human throughout the lifespan from conception to death. So that would be the end of my topic for today. I hope you've gained the knowledge, and I just want to tell you, by better understanding how and why people change and grow, we can apply this knowledge to helping people live up to their full potential. And bye!